This is part 2 of 2 of my interview with Robyn Scott. This episode contains profanity, adult jokes, and some discussion that may be considered triggering, including talks about gender identity, and LGBTQ issues. Enjoy the show. This podcast was brought to you by Borzilla Entertainment, LLC. Borzilla, Zilla, roar. Borzilla, Zilla, roar. They strip search of all the children. And then we fucking leave.
You fuck and leave?
No,
I'm still tore up over her people.
Preacher would get so mad about, worrying about us fornicating.
We all try to get along.
My face ain't normal, it's a damn news case.
To get along.
Ain't normal. There's something odd in that.
We all try to get.
The hardest part for me to swallow
was the pastor.
Is
I woke up this morning and I packed a suitcase.
There's no normal life, White. It's just life. You get on with it.
All right, let's go on to the next exception of biology. Klinefelter syndrome. That is not an XX. That is an XXY. That is a 47 chromosome human being. Those are people got reduced male features, low testosterone, and breast enlargement. That's what they get for having an extra Y or an extra X chromosome. Turner syndrome is just a single X. Just get one. Something happens in crossing over where they don't end up with two X chromosomes. They just end up with one X chromosome from a parent. And they are women who have like a webbed neck, low set ears, low hairline, short stature, swollen hands and feet. They do develop menstrual periods and breasts, but with hormone therapy. They're unable to have children without reproductive technology, so I assume that's some kind of implantation or some issue. But those are a couple other things that happen. I'm still saving 2 more. I kind of want to talk for a minute about comedy. Comedy is my favorite thing in the world, other than maybe music. I've done a few open mics. In a way, I'm a little fascinated by your arc on comedy because, first of all, you're coming out and your first time doing anything funny was at Moo Moo's Roast. Is that right?
No,
Okay.
I came out right 4 years ago.
Okay.
I had started my transition in July. I started doing my research, checking my insurance companies, getting all my ducks in a row, figuring out if this is something I can feasibly do.
Okay.
And I wasn't 100% sure that what was going on. I think I knew, but I was suppressing it so much that,
Yeah.
when you asked me for stories for today, the first thought was, I don't know. And I realized I have plenty.
Yeah.
But trying to recall them is hard because I fought so hard to repress and hide this stuff for so long that it's not a simple memory to recall on. Because I locked it away so it wouldn't be an accidental slip up or something when I was still hiding. But I think I finally, my first coming out was I'm a notary, I'm ordained, so I've done a lot of weddings now. I've done 11 weddings.
I've done 1. I'm a notary too.
I got to actually, once South Carolina passed once the 4th Circuit passed where South Carolina gays can marry, a close friend of mine, I DJ'd their wedding. They were the first ones at Anderson to get their marriage license. They were on the news and everything. I got to legalize it.
Oh, cool.
This is right after I came out, and when they asked me if I would be the one to do it, I told them I'm honored. I said, but has this person told you, I'm coming out trans? They're like, we've heard, we love you, you're our family, we don't care. I'm like, great. That was the first time, and I was still kind of dressed down. I still was very masculine, but I put some makeup on, kind of dressed up a little. Mm-hmm. And my friends ribbed me a little bit, and I know they really don't care. To this day, we're still friends. They don't care. They address me as Robyn, she, everything.
Yeah.
But of course, in the beginning, friends being friends, they rib you and give you hell for it. But that was kind of my first public, and it was because it was posted on Facebook. The thing with Moo Moo, the roast for Moo Moo, was probably the first time where a lot of people that know me got to see me, interact with me, address me. And it was kind of nice because I didn't get the 50 questions of, because at the time I was still going by my dead name, which was, was very weird for people anyway.
Yeah. Well, just a little going back for people who may remember when Chris was on the show, he was talking about having cancer after he got done with his cancer. A lot of his comedian friends, a lot of his friends, actors, comedians, whoever knew him, did a roast of him. And that was the first time, I didn't know you back then. I didn't know you until recently, but that was the first time I heard of, and you know, Adam Minarovich, he's like, Robyn's coming out, and he's like, do you know Craig? And I was like, no. He's like, well, Robyn now, but that'll be like the first time I think that we've all been out with Robyn or something to that effect.
Right. And the first time it was a big get together.
So I knew it was coming up. I was probably working or something, so I didn't get to go to it. But somebody sent like a private link to the roast. Right. So I saw that. And I guess the thing that stood out to me is there were some obvious comedians. I forget the black dude's name, but he did really well.
Frey Ford.
Yeah.
He is still killing it.
Yeah. Adam did pretty well. Adam's good about taking something similar, like taking a joke that's similar, and then you know, I don't think he would mind me saying that we bounce some ideas off each other for some of the stuff. But
he's a natural talent. He really is.
Yeah, he's got funny delivery. Well, he's got presence. He tells stories that screws me up because he'll start looking somewhere else, and I'll be looking where he's looking. He's like, no, that's how I was doing, you know. Yeah, he's basically emoting all the time. So I ended up watching that, and I remember you told some story about Adam and a high school blowjob, and
I forgot about that.
I was like, okay, and I think you even admitted, like, I don't really have jokes. I just got some stories.
Yeah.
And then so when I heard you were doing stand-up, I'm like, really? Because she didn't even have jokes for the roast. She was just kind of telling a story, but she ain't good. And I guess maybe it was Kevin. Somebody was like, yeah, she's doing really well. And then, like, I see you posting appearances and stuff. I'm like, wow,
Well, it's been
that's coming. I mean,
3 years now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer was 3 years.
Yeah, but 3 years you can accomplish that if you actually put a lot of effort into it.
And I plan on turning it up harder next year.
Yeah.
I've got my website built now. Actually having a logo designed. Getting ready to have a t-shirt designed. So when I travel, I can try to at least compensate some of the... Just so y'all know, it's kind of like being a band member. You know, you play so many things for $20 if you're lucky. We're lucky if we get $20. So when we go to a show or travel, I booked for a show in Chattanooga at the end of March.
Nice.
So...
Do you know what the name of the place is?
No,
That's all right. That's okay. I've only been to one place in Chattanooga ever, so like...
I've never been to Chattanooga, so that'll be a new stop for me.
I went to a Hawaiian tropic bikini contest or something.
I would love to know that.
So I should probably back up a little bit. We just jumped right into everything. This is going to be a fun job of editing exactly what all
Yeah.
I want to be on here, and you know, because we just jumped midway in. So I never really asked, like, how long did you know? Was it something that changed, or was it always something, or?
Okay, so my entire life that I can remember, so from like 3-4 years old, I cross-dressed.
Okay.
So from childhood up, when I would imagine I was a girl. I knew I had been born with male body parts and was a quotation mark boy, but I always knew inside, or at least wanted to be a girl. You know, growing up, I was born in 1977, growing up through the 80s. That's technology, information. It wasn't like it is now.
Right.
So,
yeah, you just, what's up with me? Because there's not like, I kind of always say, like, even, I went to a small school. I went to, like, a small Christian school, and we're going to get into that one day on the podcast. There's many episodes planned for that. But, you look at, like, the Big Bang Theory, and, like, you really couldn't even afford to be a nerd, where, I was the valedictorian. My best friend was into comic books, but there wasn't really, like, a nerd jock, because, like, even the nerds had to play football to field a team, you know?
yeah. Well, you know, the whole Revenge of the Nerds movies, and it didn't glorify them at all.
No.
They may have won in the end, but they were still nerds.
Well, yeah. There's a different level of what is a nerd and how they're treated now in media. But you know, like, there were a couple of real outliers in school, but like I said, it was a small enough group that, like, you know, you definitely didn't want to stray too far out. I was a kid with anxiety and asthma and some compulsions that made me weird enough for everybody. I can't imagine tacking. I mean, I think we all go through some things, and especially in puberty, like, shit, I wonder if I am gay. And, like, an irrational thought, because, like, all I've ever wanted was, like, this, you know, I'm in second grade, I'm, like, trying to keep the ninth grader that's helping us, the girl, like, she's the helper, like, dragging her by the arm, like, oh, stay, you know, and, you know, but, like, all of a sudden at 13, I was like, what if I am gay, you know? It's like,
You know, I was one of the first people to get their ear pierced in my middle school, and, you know, that was a big thing. You know, yank your left ear pierced, not your right ear pierced.
stupid.
Yeah,
it was true, though, that's what they said.
Yeah, it was like the dumbest shit in the world, and after a while, you believe it.
Yeah.
But
It's like the yellow 5 thing.
I've always, and I don't know if it's because somebody tells me that I can't do it or you shouldn't do it, makes me want to do it more.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of that person. I love the taboo, but at the same time, I don't really go get holes jabbed in my head or in my body or anything like that because you told me not to. I'm not really stupid. And I sure as hell didn't become a woman because somebody told me not to.
Yeah, you didn't just do it for attention. It's all about you, right?
Yeah, apparently.
That's another one of those stupid things
here's
that
a
you...
really key important factor. I came out like 3 months before Caitlyn Jenner did, so... She copied me.
God damn you, Caitlyn Jenner. You are not brave. Try doing that shit in Anderson, South Carolina.
She took all the wind out of my sails. But no, okay, so...
Well, you know what? You win however many Olympic gold medals. Then maybe you'll cover some magazines.
She is my tranny Al Sharpton.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. I threw you off there.
No, you're fine. So anyway, growing up, I was cross-dressing and everything my whole life. And it's when they were finally, teenage years, girls started dating, running around. And it's like everything you suppress. You're like, okay, I gotta be normal, I gotta fit in. And so you do, you hide, you bury who you are. Mm-hmm. And I lived my life, and it finally started, it would creep out sometimes. Okay, no big deal. I can live with it, it's in private, nobody knows, everything's fine. And it just kept on. And then it's like, I get married, and we have kids. Have a kid. Everything's fine, we can do this, we're fine, the occasional creep out. To the point where it became, I have an outfit or two in my closet for those days I had the house to myself. When I needed that a long time. About once every couple of months, I'd lock the door, nobody come in, I would answer the phone. I had the house to myself. And for that time, I was me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, you eventually realize that's not what it is.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, it was around the internet boom when somebody put a word to it. I knew what a transsexual was. We all did. We've seen it on TV and whatnot growing up. But got the internet, 2000.
Okay.
Got my crappy Dell computer.
You got a Dell, dude.
I still have my original email address I use to this day.
Oh, nice. I still have a Hotmail account.
It's MSN. So, got all this stuff, and what does every boy do when they get the internet?
Porn.
Look for porn, and all the porn that you can find. All the free porn, all this, all that. And so I did. I looked at so much porn, it got to the point where porn just, you didn't care anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But in porn, it led you to so many different things. Just like you do the porn, and you find out, there's crazy shit out there. Let's find the donkey shows. Let's find the shit videos. We're sick. It's not that anything.
There's levels I won't go to just because I don't want that on my hard drive or like my search history because I don't do bestiality because I'm not sure that it's legal. Like I've seen like other people search for stuff like that. Like I'm not even sure this is legal. I don't want.
I worked. We'd actually had repo computers and we'd wipe them clean and have to delete child porn off of them.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot. I've ran across pictures that were posted on like public forums. Like Steak and Cheese was one of the websites, and a couple of, it's kind of like E-Bombs World and all that.
What was it kind of Mr. Hands? I haven't seen that video, and I haven't seen Two Girls, One Cup, and I really don't have any interest in either.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's like one of the other comics, John Gibson out of Columbia says, I'll watch anything twice, once for myself, but I gotta pay it forward.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of that reason, but otherwise, yeah. So, after a while, you do that, and you're like, okay, well, then you run across she-males.
Yeah.
Cross-dressing, it kind of turned me on. So I looked, and I find out, wait, there's another term.
Yeah. Because they had she-males in Hustler when I was a kid. And
but that was it. You would have she-male and trannies, and you're like, what are all the... And then you find out, transsexuals, and you're like, okay, that's the term. And then you start looking, lady boys, and you're like, Jesus Christ, we got a fan club. They got so many names for us.
Oh, yeah. The lady boys are in Thailand, I believe.
Yeah. I see you're a peruser.
No, it's just I'm not even sure where that knowledge comes from. I just know it. It's like
I think it's now osmosis. But,
yeah, it's just it's everybody seems. It's one of those things that everybody knows, and a lot of those things aren't true, but that one is.
Well, once I found that, and I seen transsexual, somewhere I found transgender, and I'm like, what? And it's the same transsexual, transgender. All these derogatory terms that are used for porn and everything else. It's all the same.
Yeah. The first time I heard the term transsexual was on one of those tabloid TV shows in the late 80s, early 90s. And it was a trans woman calling herself transsexual and older, like probably, I don't know, I was a kid, so probably 50s. Now doesn't seem very old. But what with the gray hair in my beard, 50 doesn't seem so old. But maybe as old as 60, talking about she was transsexual and kept saying, "Don't compare me to no TVs." Talking about transvestites.
Yeah.
So, like, that's not what I am. Don't you compare me to no TVs.
Oh, yeah, I can keep going in weird stories, trust me. But it's true. Transvestites get their jollies by dressing kind of like a cross-dresser.
But they say that more than 50%, and I say they say, I've heard for 20 years, more than 50% of transvestites are straight men. And I think a lot of people just don't know how to process that. I mean, we've all heard of J. Edgar Hoover shit, and I guess the only one I can think of that is fuck, now I'm gonna forget his name.
Eddie Izzard.
That's it. Eddie Izzard.
He is actually transgender.
Is he?
Yeah, he just...
Is she?
Well, it's for still time, he...
Okay. Well, fuck, there goes
Yep.
Doug Rich from The Riches.
Eddie has actually done a couple of things about it, but at this point, and quoting what I remember, so I'm going to misquote the hell out of this, I'm sure of it, he still prefers, for now, he. I have a friend that's wanting to transition, but for now, until she decides to actively transition, she said, just call me she, and she's retaining her name because it's gender neutral anyway.
Yeah.
But for now, until I start transition, just keep she. It's easier on everybody. And it doesn't, for her, it doesn't bother her.
Yeah.
Eddie was like, I am transgender. I do want to transition, but with my career, where I'm at, everything, it would stop him in his tracks.
Right.
He was known for his cross-dressing.
Yeah, that's why I thought he might have been the straight dude as a transvestite, apparently.
He hides it a lot of ways. And at the same time, too, he's a hilarious comedian.
Yeah. Have you heard the Death Star Canteen?
The song?
No, it's a Eddie Izzard bit. Somebody said it with Legos, Star Wars Legos. It was like that's Darth Vader trying to get something at the canteen. Of course, the guy at the canteen has no idea who the fuck he is. It's like, I am Lord Vader, Darth Vader, and he's like, Jeff Vader. It's like, I want the penne alla ramen or something. You know, he's like, well, you'll have to get a tray. It's like, I do not need a tray. I can kill you with a thought. I do not need. And he starts getting the tray. He's like, fuck, this one is wet. This one is wet. This one is. Did you drive them in a fucking rainforest? You know, it's brilliant.
Oh, God, I gotta find that.
It's one of my favorite bits, especially since it's set to Legos doing it. Like, somebody made that bit 100 times better by doing that. So, yeah, that's the only thing. Like, I've seen so many of his performances, and that's the only thing I can think of now when I think of Eddie Izzard.
Yeah, my favorite line was, why are you wearing women's clothes? They're not women's clothes. I bought them. They're my clothes.
It's a good one.
And you automatically go,
Okay, so you realize what's going on, and you're already married at this point, right?
I am.
Okay.
And so, of course, I'm about, when I finally understand it, when I know what's going on, I know that I would like to transition, I'm about 25.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So 4 years ago it was a 37-ish. Okay.
Yeah.
So you knew at 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was married. I have a kid. I have a life. All these things going on. I'm in the conservative South. It couldn't happen. I called places. I called an endocrinologist around town. I don't remember who it was at this point. It was so long ago. Asked if they treated transsexuals. And they're like, yeah. Can we get your name? And terrified, I gave my name. Because I didn't know if somebody I went to school with was working in the office.
Oh, yeah.
And regardless of what the laws are about sharing any information...
HIPAA. Yeah, there are people that violate it.
All day long, every day. So,
now, I think they should all be fired, but there are people who do.
Not just fired. That's something that realistically...
Lose your license.
Job license, suit,
I am well aware.
Yeah.
I'm very careful about privacy stuff.
So... I keep researching, I keep reading, and I find blogs, and I find YouTube videos, and people are talking, and as different and individualized as our stories are, they are so similar.
Yeah.
The support group I run, we talk, and I've told the story a couple times to a few people. I've told in my congregation at church. And it's the same thing. It's like, as different as we are, we're the same. And as much as we're the same, we're different. But it's nuts. I mean, it's the easiest way to put it. It's just fucking nuts. But finally, I keep pushing, I keep burying. My wife knows I'm wearing panties at this point. I've got an outfit or two, but I don't dress around her. She don't really care. She don't have to deal with it. It's my little kink.
Yeah.
That was actually a term that was coined in Transparent.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things. It was like, it's just this kink. It's just this kink. And it's like, okay, everybody's got a little something like this, a little off kilter, and that's fine. I want the kink. I fought it as long as I could, and it started coming up further and further to the point where I was terrified that I was going to lose my wife, my kid, my family, every friend I had, because a lot of what you're hearing are horror stories.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine. And honestly, I want to be careful how I say this. It's not... It's because I want to choose the right words. I'm not trying to kids gloves you or anything.
Right.
If someone changes that significantly, like, nobody bought in for it is what I'm saying. Like, so... You can't control anything but what you feel and well, you can't even really control what you feel, but you can't control anything but what you're doing. You can't control their reaction to it.
Right.
I think that's what I'm trying to get. Like,
yeah, you're very vulnerable.
And on their standpoint, they didn't buy in. So even if somebody is going to just peace out, I don't know that there's a lot of blame there. It's just a matter of damn, this is going to suck.
Well, as the conversation with the wife was, there were things that were said that still resonate and terrify me to this day.
Yeah.
My biggest concern was losing my family.
Yeah.
My daughter didn't take it so well after. In the beginning, she was okay because we've raised her. You respect people. A lot of her closest friends were gay. She would go to bat for them. Every some of her best friends were black. She never judged on anything like that. She loved the individual for who they are.
Right.
Which is how we raised her. So once it started happening, and I still don't know all the details, but she didn't like it because Daddy wasn't Daddy anymore.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where I think some friends at school were probably, because it was senior year, I tried to hold it out as long as I could, and I couldn't. It takes on a life of its own.
Yeah.
I had this huge plan that everything was going to happen afterwards. I was going to come out around February or March, which is when our company likes to let their employees go, and I was going to make it as extremely difficult on them as possible.
Well, you are in a right-to-work state that doesn't protect gay people or trans people. So.
EEOC does, and it was in their company bylaws.
So their policy protected you.
Yep, and company bylaws, for those that don't know, are equal to laws. If they hold you to it, if they write it in there, they legally have to honor what they wrote they would.
Yeah, otherwise they can get sued.
So their bylaws are laws they have to abide by for themselves. So, anyway, which amazingly they became the most supportive company, and I was one of the biggest pioneers for them, apparently.
Yeah.
So, a lot was said. My wife even said, I'm not a lesbian. And jokingly, now I'm like, well, you are now.
I don't think I'm going to top that one for dick jokes today.
I didn't say that then.
Right.
And at that time, I'm like, I know, and I'm begging forgiveness. But she's like, how do I tell you not to be you and not to be happy? And if that's not the most purest thing that my wife could tell me, that she was willing to fight through the fact that she's not attracted to women. She's not attracted to, transsexuals or anything. She's not bisexual. I mean, we've had experience and fun things we've done in the past and stuff like that, but she's a straight, cisgender white woman. And it's one of those to where now it took time. It took a lot of time. And it's one of those, now she's on board, she understands, she sees that I'm still me. I went through my little phase where I got to be me, so some things were different because I was finally getting to be the person that was repressed for so
Yeah, now you're expressing things that are, you're kind of trying on some new clothes, so to speak.
Literally.
Yeah, and literally.
Yeah, literally and figuratively. And it's one of those where now, it was one of those, she said something the other day, but I'm not a lesbian. I said, honey, really, you are. I'm
gonna want to come back to that. What I like to do is I like to give people like a 45-minute episode, and then my plan is in the future we're gonna have patrons, and everything after that is is going to be for the patrons. We've already got an hour and a half. I want to try to hit close to 2. So if we can continue talking, but I want to come back to that point, but I ain't giving that one away for free. It's she said, I'm not a lesbian. Again, I've done a few open mics. I'm working on some premises I'd like to talk with you about, for jokes. I haven't made anything. I haven't got a bit, but I've got a premise that is similar to that. I'm not a lesbian. Cause what is that? Well, I won't get into it yet. Let's stop for a second for another one of these, not necessarily biological things. Put my old man fucking 40-something glasses on. We've already gone with the XY female, so now let's talk about XX males. The appearance of XX males can fall into one of 3 categories. People with normal internal and external genitalia. Males with ambiguities.
Meaning potentially intersex.
Like, is that a large clit or a baby penis?
Yep.
And then males that have both. I got this from Wikipedia. I don't know what the citation is. It's not a citation needed. I didn't click to see what it was, but it says true hermaphrodites.
No, and that's the thing. Hermaphrodite is considered a derogatory term now.
Well, I understand that. But
yeah, and that's what a lot of people our age group knew it as, is those with both parts.
Yeah.
And it's not, if you actually, and this is back to those searching porn days, but if you actually look up intersex, INTRSEX, and then just do images, you're going to probably run across a few things. You might not be able to do it on Google, but you will find, and like you said, is it a clitoris or a micropenis? And that's the thing. There will be a vagina, but the clitoris will look more like a penis and a glans.
I'd already planned to say this. The next line is about the external genital ambiguities, including hypospadias. Just don't even Google that. You've seen that in a medical situation before. Micropenis, which they have a contest for on Howard Stern's radio network sometimes, and clitoromegaly. If you've ever Googled female bodybuilder porn,
yeah,
they take testosterone, and I don't know, when the clit just looks like the head of a penis popping out.
Yeah, it's kind of trippy.
I'm not gonna body shame anybody or anything. It just like
it jumps out of the norm.
It stands out. It's like, well, that's not.
Yeah.
Well, this is the Ain't Normal podcast. So you can say that ain't normal, but it definitely doesn't. You wouldn't expect that's what it would look like enlarged, I guess. And then it does. Like, they're the same developmentally, but they have developed at some point, and then
but
the glans penis,
it's like 10 times the nerve ending. So
yeah, I went to a whole lecture on clitori in Washington last year or this year. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know, specifically the shape, like because you see externally, but like you don't realize exactly how far that thing goes back. Like, it's connected to everything. Essentially, there's some thought that possibly all orgasms are clitoral orgasms, whether or not they define them. Yeah, because it's all basically you're still hitting that spot. Knowledge, goddammit, that's what we're here for.
We're going to help you find the G-spot.
I'm gonna go ahead and spoil I saved the best for last. The Guevedoses.
Yes! The 12-year-old penis.
Oh my god. So I saw this it pop up in my news feed, and I was sure it was fake news, folks. You already had it pulled up. Yep. Yeah. This one threw me the fuck off, because I was like, how does that happen? So, alright, so as we are in utero, we all have like a bud, so to speak. What do they call it?
It looks like an Audi.
Yeah.
Then it goes in.
Tubercle. Here we go. We all have a tubercle between our legs, a little bump, and at some point, XY individuals typically get a boost of testosterone. And when you get it's dihydrotestosterone or something, some androgen hormone, you get that boost. That's when the penis grows. That's when you can look on the ultrasound like, hey, look, you got a boy. They go ahead and assign it that far back. But, so that's what happens in the normal XY individual. Get that boost. unless you're insensitive to the chemicals, and then, you have what we talked about earlier, the androgen insensitivity in males. Well, there's a special case.
Small tribe in Dominican Republic.
Small tribe, Dominican Republic. They call them guevidoses, which literally means penis at 12.
Yep. These girls at 12 years old wake up and go, what the hell?
It's got to be bad when you're just a 12-year-old girl trying to make it through your little Dominican life and just wake up with a boner. Like, not an enlarged clit, like a legit boner. So what happens is they're missing an enzyme that causes them to get the flood of dihydrotestosterone or whatever it is. Let's see, is it dihydrotestosterone? They're missing the enzyme that causes that flood of that in utero.
Yep.
Which you would think would just mean they're going to be sterile girls their whole life. They're going to end up with that whole thing we talked about earlier, the perfect woman, so to speak, from Dr. House, MD.
Yeah.
Where their testes end up being ovaries. They grow a uterus. It just doesn't function. However, they just are girls until 12 years old. All of a sudden, puberty hits. They do get a flood of testosterone and then produce an entire penis. I don't overnight. Like what? I don't know the technology or the technical details of this, but it's
yeah. It's like I want more. I want more. I haven't read anything that says the time frame because they're you're walking around and saying your dress has got a poke in it.
And I don't mean to make fun of these people. And it's culturally to them probably. Yeah, it's culturally to them. It's probably not even a big deal because it's
and now
everybody in that area.
When we say tribe, we're not referring to someone hiding in huts and we're not going back deep. We're still referring. Why they said tribe, I don't know, because this is still in rural areas of the Dominican Republic. These aren't jungle people tribes.
Yeah, it's I didn't know anything about it until the last year or two. Like it just started coming out recently.
Yeah, it's been over the last couple of years. It finally made
maybe 2016 or so. That I think the first thing I heard about this, I was kind of in disbelief at that one. Like, that's not real. And then it's like, holy shit, that's actually real.
And then you have people, well, if you're XX and XY, you're this. It's like, really?
Yeah, fuck you, Ben Shapiro. And fuck, I get tired of people sharing that shit. Like, educated people have come to me and said, this guy's really smart because, you can be whatever gender you want. How about that? You be gender, but you're going to go to the bathroom based on your sex, and sex is biological. It's like, fucker, you don't care about biology. I've never heard you talk a bit about biology.
Well, here's the thing. Right now, looking at me, what's in my pants? Do you know?
No.
So where are you going to tell me to go to the bathroom?
I hope you don't know what's in my pants. You can make assumptions, but yeah.
That's it. That's the problem.
Okay, so here's some. Well, okay, this is a really one. This one that pissed me off so much that goes around with some of the alt-right people I know and the conservatives. When the Kavanaugh thing came, and again, not to get too political, but the second story that came out about him was this lady was at a party and he just walked over and shoved his dick in her face. Did you ever hear that one?
Vaguely, I think I did.
So this meme starts going around. Liberal logic or something, snowflake logic, whatever. A college woman is traumatized because somebody shoves a dick in her face, but you want my 12-year-old daughter to have that in the bathroom. I'm like, who the fuck said we wanted trans women throwing dicks in faces? Like, and that's the first part of it. The second and more important part, do you think it was okay for him to shove his dick in somebody? If he did, do you think it was okay? Would that not be traumatic? If it's okay, how about you want your wife, next time she's over for cocktails, have your one of your buddies from work shove his dick in her face? Like, how do you get to that and then accuse the other people of terrible logic? It's like, that's what we're dealing with as rhetoric now. It's just horseshit. And
it's like, and here's my thing, in fact, touching politics and not bashing. Trump has done some good things. He's done some dumb things. He's not been horrible, but, depending on which level you're looking at. He's not been the best president, like some people want to say, not in my opinion. He's not been the worst. When I say, okay, I don't like the way he's doing this, I don't need to fucking hear that Obama did this. Obama's not president anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that, too. I agree with that too, because
because Obama did something.
If you want to talk about how great Obama is, I'll fucking match you with bad things. I'll call him Captain Drone Strike. I'll say he didn't deserve his fucking Nobel Peace Prize. I'll talk about some of the shit some of the shit he did with immigration.
Yeah. He did some good things. He did some bad things. I don't think we've had a perfect president in the history of the United States.
No. But yeah, but I think that's it's like the Bill Clinton thing. People are always like, well, Bill Clinton did that. Well, like, I would go further than most conservatives on Bill Clinton. I don't think there was a clear line of consent, even if, and as the stories went when we were or when we were in college or whatever, Monica Lewinsky just threw herself at him. Even if that's true, there's no clear line of consent when you're the commander and goddamn chief of the most powerful country in the world, and this person is your subordinate. This person is an intern. There's such a power difference. I don't think that she could possibly consent to anything with somebody with that level of power difference.
See, that's coming from a teacher who understands there is a power difference.
Yeah.
That's like me. I'm a supervisor. I'm a manager. I have employees, and I've known other employers that if I chose to bully them into sex, I probably could. And I know other managers who have used those situations before. And that's the thing. It's not...
Yeah. Regardless of the other things that Clinton was accused of, which I think probably are varying levels of true, from probably absolutely true to some of it probably either absolutely made up or I don't know, some of it might have been, some implication. Yeah,
I'm sure some wasn't embellished enough.
Right. Well, but if it was only the Monica Lewinsky thing, I think that was a form of, maybe it's not against our laws, but ethically criminal level of sexual misconduct. I wouldn't go as far as like, forcible rape or sodomy or whatever you want to call it. But on the other hand, I have ideas about like military commanding officers and stuff. If you fuck your subordinate, they cannot consent. I think it should be a law, against that.
Considering he's in charge of the military and it's such a...
considering he's the head of the most powerful military, and this was an intern under his employ, it's still like I'm not saying it's forcible rape, but I'm not saying that either. You know what I mean? It's like,
it definitely falls under unethical.
It's a huge level of sexual misconduct.
Now, when I was 13, I think, or so, when he was first in office, and I think it was around 16 or so when I found this out. A dumb teenage kid going, "Hell yeah, he's the president. He deserves a blowjob."
I remember one of my friend's granddad said something. He was probably in his 70s or 80s at the time. He's like, "He's an old man. Of course, some girl gonna give him a Hummer. Like, what do you expect? No, some girl gonna suck him off. What do you expect him to do? He's just." I'm like, even then, I was like, he's fucking president.
No,
but she's been so shamed over the whole thing too. It's like fucking ridiculous the way she's been treated by both sides.
Every guy was still, to this day, every nerd pre-death would have had sex with Carrie Fisher, skinny or fat.
Oh, just because of the where she fits on the scavenger hunt.
So yeah, would it?
I'm not gonna lie. I've gone out with somebody. I've never fucked anybody that short before. Let's do this.
Yeah, but at the same time, oh, trust me, believe me, I'm on that bucket list for some people. I know. That's unnerving. By the way, that is fucking unnerving, guys. Y'all are some creepy bastards when you're hitting on people. I never understood it, and I know I did it too. And now I'm like, oh, God, go away. Just get the fuck away from me. You are creepy. Leave me alone.
Oh, God, do you watch Crashing?
No.
You need to. I don't know. I don't like to tell people what you need to do because somebody tells me, you know what you need to do? I just want to fucking murder them. But as a comedian, if you're not watching Marvelous Miss Maisel and Crashing,
3 episodes to go on it.
Yeah, I binge watched the second season of both of those last week. Do you know Pete Holmes?
Yeah.
Okay. Pete Holmes in real life was like, he was living in the suburbs with his wife, going into New York City on the weekends, doing open mic sets wherever he could, and his wife was fucking around on him.
Right.
He left. He was crashing on people's couches. People, I think, like John Mulaney, his peers in comedy. So now he's 10 years older. They're playing it out as if it's happening at, now, but it's kind of his story, but embellished, of course.
Right.
It's, inspired by his real story. So, I don't know, I don't remember if it was this bad on the first season, but he just has such boundary issues, especially with women on the second season.
I remember the previews for this show.
But I think the problem with that is they're playing him off being a nice guy, and I think there is a problem with some people that say they got friend zoned. It's like, no, you were never in, and you're trying to force your way in, and now you're hating somebody because they're not attracted to you. That's kind of fucked up. And I think it's because we're all promised that we were going to be that fucking pizza boy in was it not the pizza boy, the lawnmower? He's the same guy, the guy from Can't Buy Me Love, Patrick. What's his nuts? He's the doctor on
Dempsey.
Yeah, Patrick Dempsey. We all believe we're going to be Patrick Dempsey riding away on the lawnmower with the hot girl on Can't Buy Me Love. And the truth is, if I'm John Mahoney and John Cusack's playing Peter Gabriel outside my 17-year-old daughter's house, I'm shooting him in the fucking chest. You fucking stalkery motherfucker.
Or at least a boombox to scare the shit out of him.
Yeah, like you stalkery motherfucker, go away, because stalkers are scary people. Like, go away. This is not romantic. This is a boundary impaired person that's going to eventually cause some real problems. Like, this is not romantic. This is, and I think, I mean, we've gone in my lifetime from, like you say, in our lifetime of, there wasn't a term for date rape. We had to invent, Generation Xers anyway, invented no means no, which is actually terrible. We should be a yes means yes society. You shouldn't look at a date as what I can get out of it, you know? It's funny, I ran into somebody the other day that I dated, and it was awkward, but it was a smile on both sides. It was, like, oh, hey, hadn't seen you in a while. Yeah, changed careers, and we both waved and smiled and nodded at each other. Hadn't seen her in 6 years. Didn't exactly end well. I know they say it's narcissistic when you want that to be like when you try to keep in touch with people or you want people to have a happy memory. But I feel like at least if that's how things ended or if that's the way that we're met now, then I probably haven't wronged somebody too bad. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't treat them like a masturbatory item. You know what I mean?
I do. And that's here's the thing. Narcissism, okay, if you're a narcissist to the point where you don't care about other people, yeah, you got a problem. Normal narcissism is normal.
Well, yeah,
things to be right, to want people to be happy, to want people to think good things of you. That's human.
Yeah, there's an article, or I don't know if it was I don't think it was an editorial or an opinion piece. There's probably some psychology in it, and it's like anything else. They always throw out those these professions are the most likely professions for sociopaths. It's like police officers, clergy, journalists. Doesn't mean that every journalist is a fucking sociopath. It just means that that's the kind of stuff that sociopaths are drawn to, right? It doesn't mean, statistically they're going to have a higher percentage than other jobs, but it doesn't mean that everybody in that group is the same way. And I think maybe that's what this was saying is that you really keep in touch with your ex-girlfriends, that is a trait that narcissists do. But there's also like a list of 11 things, and if you've got 5 of them, then you probably have narcissistic personality disorder. And I know 2 people who have like 9 out of the 11.
I think we both know those people.
Well, I don't know about these 2 you don't know, but like they definitely check all the boxes. I definitely know some people who probably fit pretty high on the list too. Okay, so a few things about comedy I want to go in. One involves the issue you said about I'm not a lesbian. So everybody always says, well, it's somebody else's preference doesn't affect you.
Right.
Somebody else's gender identification doesn't affect you. And I've always been on that board. I'm the one preaching that. Until now. Okay. Are you familiar with Santa Clarita Diet?
Yes.
You know the daughter on that show?
Yes.
The character. She is a beautiful young woman. Mm-hmm. The character. Well, there's an actor that plays that character.
Right.
That actor is non-binary.
Okay.
They appear to me as a beautiful woman.
Right.
But is not a woman. Does that make me bisexual now? Or fucking pansexual? Or I feel like my sexuality has changed by how they identify.
Ruby Rose.
Any end of the spectrum. I would fuck Ruby Rose.
There you go.
From as butch as she wants to be to as delicate as she wants to be from beginning to end.
How do you feel about her? Because she's also non-binary.
Oh yeah, then I just want to know what my sexuality is now.
She turned straight women gay and gay men
yeah,
straight. So
that is the one person any end of the spectrum like that gender fluidity video she does. Yeah. Either end of it,
Breaking out
I'm
together.
fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I even downloaded that song so that I can listen on my iPod to remind me of the time I watched that video.
I think a lot of the time, default appearances, until someone specifically tells you different, and you know that person's... Okay, like me. In a normal presentation, I would be clearly feminine, hair is done, hair's long, my hair is bright purple, pink, and a few other colors.
Yeah.
I clearly have breasts, my makeup will be done, I'm usually in very feminine attire. It's pretty obvious I'm trying to present female.
Right.
To come up and say, sir, seriously is insulting. It's not saying that, oh, I didn't know. No, you're being a cunt. That's what you mean.
You're being an asshole.
Yeah. Now, on the retro, butch females. A lot of butch females may fall into the lesbian category.
Huh?
But they're still women and they identify as women. All of them are transitioning. So, that's where it gets difficult. There are men who like to wear makeup. Who cares? It doesn't hurt anybody. But it's one of those with the butch lesbians, and again, another comic friend of mine, she even uses that in her joke. She's like, no, I'm not trans, I love them, but I'm just butch.
Yeah.
But she is amazing. Amazingly funny, probably the most talented, probably the best comic we got in this whole damn state.
Yeah.
But it made me realize, it's like, wow, yeah, I bet as much as I get misgendered, I bet y'all do too, but for the wrong reason.
Yeah, if people are trying to be nice, like, oh,
Yeah.
that's probably a trans man.
Yeah.
Sir? What about me says sir? Shit.
Yeah.
Trying.
So-
Just don't, yeah, it's hard to.
Yeah, I've learned, even in my normal speak to any normal person, I try to stay away from sirs and ma'ams now. Because really...
All right, so the singular they.
it's so hard.
God, it like I want to be supportive, but that just is so like. Can we just come up with something other than because it's like I get that language changes.
Sie, sir, and I can't remember the other German.
Yeah, I want to be supportive. Also, I understand. A friend of mine was dating somebody involved in linguistics at one point, and like so, as much as I flip out about no, literally does not, goddamn it, mean figuratively. Yeah, it does now, and we're okay with that because language always moves.
Right.
Words are they're just a sound that is associated with an idea. And that'll do it for part 2 of my interview with Robyn. We're going to kick it into extra innings. Be on the lookout in 2019 for a way to patronize our show. We'll keep you posted with that. Follow us at facebook.com/ain'tnormalpodcast and on Twitter at normalain't. No apostrophes for either of those. Finally, I'd like to thank Analog Heart for allowing us to use their music for our intro. And here they are again to play us out.
I never realized before, but everything that I do is carefully calculated just for you. I've shied away from bangs and I've taken off all of my favorite rings, specifically 'cause I know that you're not into those things. I can't remember what I like. You got to me, blew out my light. These thoughts I'm thinking, baby, aren't even mine. This torch, it burns for me this time. It ain't easy to reclaim what you've never